Hate to tell y'all, but the pyramids of Giza aren't lined up with the stars in Orion's belt. This is something called the Orion correlation theory, and it is unfortunately some pseudo-archaeology that I believed for many years. Let's break down this misinformation. The Orion correlation theory was first proposed in 1989 by Robert Bauval, a writer and researcher with no background in Egyptology, archaeology, or even astronomy. Originally, it was pointing out the connection between the layout of the three main stars of Orion's belt and the three pyramids of Giza. It was then expanded by other pseudo-archaeologists in the 90s, including one that shall not be named. They took this thought and claimed that the pyramids were not just aligned with the stars when they were built, but that they were aligned when the pyramids were built in 10,000 BCE. They took it one step further and said that the Sphinx, which according to them was built in 10,500 BCE, was built to represent the constellation Leo, and that the Nile was then supposed to be the terrestrial map of the Milky Way. They used this theory to support their earlier date for the building of the pyramids and the Sphinx. So we know from multiple tests on objects associated with the pyramids and even dating the mortar in the pyramids that they were built during the reign of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure in the 4th dynasty, approximately 2600 to 2500 BCE. So for all three of these pyramids to line up with the stars, there would have had to have been serious planning over approximately 100 years. And honestly, this isn't the hardest thing, as all three of these men were related. But on the astronomy side, two main astronomers, Ed Krupp and Tony Farrell, used planetary equipment to independently investigate the angle between the alignment of the stars and the pyramids. We know this angle that there is today has changed because of something called the precession of the equinoxes. They discovered that this quote-unquote perfect match was far from it. They estimated a 47 to 50 degree angle compared to the 38 degree angle formed by the pyramids themselves. Also, the slightly bent line that forms the pyramids deviates to the north, while the kink in the line of Orion's belt goes towards the south. And in reference to the Sphinx being the constellation Leo, it's in the wrong place. It actually would be on the opposite side of the Milky Way from Orion. And to top it all off, the zodiac constellations that we know today originated in Mesopotamia and were not known to ancient Egyptians until the Greco-Roman period. So how would the Sphinx be Leo? So as always, do your research when anything you see on the internet looks a little bit fishy, because I believed this one for a very long time because the ancient Egyptians were known to have a lot of knowledge of the stars and the equinoxes. I only figured out that this was wrong when an astrobiologist asked me, is this true? And then I further looked into it and realized I'd been believing the wrong thing for a long time.